Having followed Hell's toy unicorn to the police station, Crystal Orb Girl from earlier senses something strange about the exiting Chief of Policington. Yes, she has Satan sense, and yes, I'll spoil it, she's Lucy from Force. So she sends the show to follow Chiefy as he follows Detonadette to have a boring conversation about her past, during which Detonadette reveals that the necklace which seemed important to her was important to her because she has daddy issues or something. But oh no, after learning this, Chiefy transforms into the blue demon Red. And I guess there's some ham-handed RPG thing going on where people's emotional stability rests in physical objects. As such, after Red crushes the necklace, Detonadette instantly falls apart. And hereabouts is where I settle on not really caring for the show. Meanwhile, earlier, MC Whistles shrinks himself down as to escape from prison by riding his Hell unicorn through a hole it burrowed in the ground. This show's fucking awesome! So soon enough, MC Whistles arrives to save the non-detective in distress, this time doing a proper transformation sequence, signaled by his talking belt saying, "Shabadooby tachi hanchi!" that I might be grounded once again. To his credit, Red the Blue Bull at least tries to fight using his horn instead of, say, a staff with sleeping gas. But it doesn't work out so well as MC Whistles runs magical circles around him. During this fight, we see that Whistles can turn green and yellow to make use of the wind and P elements, red for fire. And when it's over, he dives into Detonadette's psyche to stave off her fears, because it would seem that MC Whistles is also a psychonaut. In Detonadette's mind world, he sees a freaky demon tearing stuff up, so he summons a dragon to fight it. Yeah, sure, seems kinda early for the hero to be summoning dragons, but it's an unruly dragon, which he has to mount with his motorcycle to get under control, so there's still a mild inconvenience for him to conquer. MC Whistles charges up his gunblade with flame power and takes a Thundercat's hoe pose. Then he cuts the soul demon in half while standing on his dragon, which might have been really cool if they actually showed him cut the demon instead of swing a light which makes it explode. Nevertheless, things are resolved, so MC Whistles hops out of Detonadette's body to reaffirm with Lucy how that thing he just did works.
Now that I've killed her inner demon, she no longer has the potential to become a funky phantom.
That's right. So next time when we meet someone with the potential to become a funky phantom, you should just go into their heads before they fall into despair so you can kill their inner demon as it sleeps.
Well, that hardly seems fair. No, I think I'll just react to things as they come.
Well, whatever. At least it's a nice change of pace to have self-contained episodes.
Yeah, you might not want to hold your breath for more of those.
Wizard 2, The Second Hell. The mage called Wizard and Lucy are relaxing at their home, which is the antique shop from last episode where they live with dark-haired Jiminy Glick. Glickenhaus exposits, "I listen to the voices in my head which tell me to make the rings of power for you, MC Whistles."
Yes, I already know that,
responds MC Whistles as if to make the exposition better. Whistles then tries out a new lollipop ring after hearing it gives him the power of sleep. But oh, the comedy, it makes himself sleep. So he can't sexually assault dark-haired Jiminy Glick. Cue the intro sequence then, the very first one. In a risky move, they made the theme lyrics about the show's hero instead of fast food. I'll see how this works. The intros up to Detective Not a Detective being told by the new chief of police that she's a detective. Or who knows, maybe she was always one. They just called her Rookie and implied that she wanted to be a detective last episode, so I made assumptions. Well, henceforth I suppose I have to call her Detective Not a Detective. Detonadette for short. The new chief, Squirmy McEvil guy, asks her about the last episode.
"So I heard that you encountered a mage in the park. Do you know anything about his identity?" "No, and I'm definitely not just saying that because you're really creepy."
"I'm not evil. Stop asking questions."
"But I didn't."
"Get out now!"
The Detonadette walks outside then, sighing as she stares at the ring I forgot to mention MC Whistles left her with.
Nobody's even said anything about the giant yellow lollipop ring I'm wearing. I mean, really, what's a girl gotta do to get some attention?
Meanwhile, later, a couple villains from the Council of Evil from last time, namely a Medusa lady and a Phoenix guy I'll call Gorgonzella and Phoenix Wrong, are scouting for magical peoples to corrupt and turn into funky phantoms. Gorgonzola spots one and calls up a lackey to send him down the path of despair. The lackey is some kind of flame guy, so I'll call him Bubbles. And the target is some dopey guy who all but gets beaten up by middle schoolers for trying to help one. Bubbles attacks this guy, revealing his master plan to make him sad by scaring him. Before the villain can so much as reconsider his options, MC Whistles arrives to save the day. And on seeing MC Whistles change forms, dopey guy creams the jeans his mother special ordered for him in extra gaudy. After a brief fight, Bubbles runs off, leaving MC Whistles with a fan-gushing dopey guy. MC Whistles attempts to retreat from his comic relief to a donut shop run by transvestites. I don't think he knows how this works. Well, they might not actually be trannies. I mean, after Strawberry Ice Cream had Lady Man, who knows? Alas, dopey guy catches up, or rather hugs Whistles and shouts, "I've caught you, master!" So now I'm pretty much forced to call him Genie. Genie explains that he always wanted to be a magical girl to inspire people and crap, but it's not gonna happen, so MC Whistles gently dashes his hopes and dreams. Meanwhile, earlier, Dadette enters the antique store home of MC Whistles. Since the mage called isn't around, Lucy and Glick tell her about his backstory. I'm kidding, Lucy tells her. The only reason Glick's there is to make it slightly less creepy and more plausible that MC Whistles is living with a young girl in a house that doubles for an antique shop.
It all started some unspecified time in the past. MC Whistles and I were hanging out at this wicked Satanist party, but then it got kinda weird, and everyone started turning into these funky phantoms. MC Whistles wasn't a pussy though, so he was alright. And I was saved by Gandalf the White in a really goofy mask. He's the one who gave MC Whistles the power of magic as a reward for him doesn't afraiding of anything. And that's the whole story. Oh, but I have amnesia now, so don't ask me about the dark rituals I performed on my old friends from Team Fjorsengard. Okay, well, ignoring that I don't know what a Fjorsengard is, why are you telling me this after we just met? Because I haven't had a good love triangle since the accident with the other one. Tee-hee-hee-hee.
Meanwhile, later, Genie is feeling nostalgic, so he goes and buys the children's book, what used to make him want to be a magical girl. Bubbles the Flame Demon happened to be in the children's section for unrelated reasons, so he sends a magma grunt to attack. MC Whistle's magic ear-listening ability picks up the screams of the public though, so soon he's on the way. But before he even arrives, Genie fends off a monster by shooting fire from his hand. Normally the kind of signal that would indicate he's a recurring character, but I'm not worried. I mean, it's the second episode and he's dressed more colorfully than the hero. Fuck. Well, MC Whistles eventually does arrive, then pulls some acrobatical magic manacle moves, then somehow gets in a motorcycle chase with Bubbles. And then Bubbles appears to die a hero's death by sliding his motorcycle into some barrels, which creates a giant explosion per the rules of television. And on that somber note, the end.